overwhelming. It's fun, it's scary, and I think the biggest thrill that you get from suspension is the fact that you know, what you're overcoming, what you are doing to your body, and what your body's doing for you. And you know, you're off the ground, nothing's supporting you other than your skin. I think the biggest misconception about body suspension is, you know, I guess the things that we hear the most often are, you know, you're crazy, what kind of person would do that, or you're worshiping the devil, but just a whole bunch of cliche things that, you know, are associated with it because people don't understand.
It's really let me come in touch with myself, realizing that once you're off the ground, you're helpless. You are just dangling there. There is a exuberant amount of pain involved with it, and you have to learn to overcome that. Overcoming something that you have no control of is just a phenomenal experience. You know, just the sheer excitement of it. I'm a real big fan of really entertaining people and being able to do suspensions at places that we can entertain people, give people something they haven't seen, and something that we can do fun and safely. I just thoroughly get a huge rush off of that. We work with a variety of different people throughout different areas, most of them being from Michigan. We work with a gentleman here in Ohio as well. It's just kind of us together doing shows, performing, grabbing different friends and getting together and having a good time. I have about 15 years of piercing experience. Beth, I believe, has about 6 or so. We have 6 years and 15 of piercing. Suspension piercing, I think I've been doing about 4 or 5 years. One thing that we're trying to learn, really perfect ourselves in now is the rigging aspect. A major aspect of suspension is rigging, which is we use a lot of mountain climbing gear. And it's just, I hate to say it, it's as simple as learning a few different knots and knowing what is the appropriate equipment and tools to use. That's something that we're trying to perfect ourselves in so we can kind of take our group and our shows on to the next level. The Devil's Tightrope was an act that not necessarily we came up with. A group of us from Michigan worked with a gentleman that puts on a show called Theater Bazaar, and it was originally his idea, John Dunavant, and he said, is there any way you guys could do an energy pull, stand over here with a rope in between and someone walk down the middle? Sure. So we tried it with 4 people. It's an act we've done a couple times. As far as we know, nobody else has really done that. Not many suspension groups work with too many slack rope walkers, so we're fortunate enough to have that. We ended up refining the act to just 2 people.
My mother today, I was talking to her about this documentary that's being filmed, and she said, well, at least Rebecca gets to film something cool. And I thought, and it took me a second, but I thought, my mom just called suspensions cool. Other than that, all I hear is be safe and don't get an infection. And I don't think I've ever had a conversation about it with my dad other than telling him I'm doing this show. I know they don't like it, but they don't really vocalize it as much.
My parents don't necessarily like it. They don't say anything anymore. The only thing I think they've ever said is, quit posting pictures of you running around half naked. My son is a little bit more vocal on it. He does not like me hanging from hooks. He thinks it's neat that I hang other people from hooks and get to go to concerts or different venues. That's kind of neat. Recently,
like in the last, I'd say, year or so, it's been a lot, 2, 3, 4 times more popular than the last couple years. I mean, it's been in music videos, TV and movies, not incredibly popular, but it's still put in, mass media forms. There's been a lot of legal and legislation issues regarding suspension that have been in the news lately. And there's a lot more,
Suspension
performances,
groups.
bands.
Yeah, there's a lot more people doing the suspensions. I mean, the amount of suspension practitioners it's quadrupled. It goes from there's a few groups here and there that everybody's doing suspensions now. It seems like.